So before I start, I wish you all a very happy Deepavali, which is coming forth, and also wish that the outer illumination should lead to inner illumination. दीपोत्सव जो होता है बाहर जो दिए होते हैं, अपने भीतर का दिया भी इसे जल जाए, और उसके लिए अष्टावक्र गीता ये ग्रंथ सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है. इफ दैट इनर लाइट should shine, the right type of text which is there is Ashtavakra Gita, and we have come up to chapter 10. So today we are going to begin with chapter 10, and let us begin with that. Vihaya vairinam kamam artham cha anartha sankulam dharmam api etayo hetum sarvatra anadaram kuru. So vihaya vairinam kamam artham cha anartha sankulam dharmam api etayor hetuhu sarvatra anadaram kuru. So we know that in our culture, the four purusharthas which have been told in our culture, dharma, artha, kama, moksha. These are the four पुरुषार्थात which have been told in our system. हमारे संस्कृति में धर्म, अर्थ और काम, मोक्ष ये चार पुरुषार्थ बताए गए हैं, और उसमें धर्म इज द बेसिस. सो काम इज डिजायर, एक्चुअली इच्छा है. अर्थ is the money and the wealth which you earn, all comes under artha. But it should be based upon dharma. That was the idea. धर्म पर आधारित अगर आप आपकी इच्छा पूर्ति करते हो, धर्म पर आधारित अगर आप अर्थ संचय करते हो, तो फिर आप मोक्ष की ओर जा सकते हो. दैट वाज द आइडिया. सो टू प्रिपेयर यू, even the ordinary persons, they have to see that whatever we are doing, because kama is everywhere, desires are everywhere of variety of types. But when we are fully fulfilling our desires, we should not really leave the path of dharma, virtue, the path of virtue. Okay. And while accumulating wealth, we should not again leave the path of virtue. It should be based on virtue. धर्म पर ही आधारित होने चाहिए अर्थ और काम. लेकिन ये कहने के लिए ठीक है, लेकिन in practical life what happens is, once you start going after the desires, fulfilling the desires, here and there you will not be able to observe the values. ये तो हम अपने डे टू डे लाइफ से जानते हैं कि कितने बार इच्छा पूर्ति के लिए हम धर्म का मार्ग छोड़ देते हैं. कितने बार अर्थार्जन के लिए, फॉर accumulating wealth, we really do not bother much about virtues, much about truth, much about अहिंसा, सत्य, अस्तेय, ब्रह्मचर्य. हाँ, ये सब का ठीक है, हम लोग करते हैं, ये किताब में रखने के लिए अच्छा है, ये प्रैक्टिकल लाइफ तो है ही नहीं. So 99% of the people, though they agree that yes, we should have dharma, we should have virtues, but then kama and moksha is there for everybody. The desire of various types are there with us. We have the desire, physical desires, we have sensual desires, we have even intellectual desires for more and more knowledge, and even the spiritual desires. Yeah, I want to become spiritually advanced. That desires also come in the way. So that is why this verse begins with a very beautiful sentence. Vihaya vairinam kamam. काम तो आपका वैरी ही है. Regard your desires as your enemy. Desire is the main enemy. Why desire is the main enemy? Because in following any desire, Even virtuous desires also, your consciousness is outer oriented. You lose the sight of moksha when you follow the desire. Okay. And artham cha anartham, very beautiful phrase has been used. अर्थ तो केवल अनर्थ ही है. What you call as अर्थ means the wealth, accumulation of wealth. उससे तो अनर्थ ही आता है. No. Sampatti becomes vipatti. And this is a very usual experience which we get when we are after money. The relationships which break down even in brothers, even in father and a son, even in the relatives, very close relatives, money is the cause of most of the breaking of relationship. पैसे के खातर मनुष्य मनुष्य को पहचानता नहीं है. एंड देन इसलिए अर्थ से ज्यादा अनर्थ ही पैदा होता है. तो काम और अर्थ ये धर्म पर आधारित होते ही नहीं है. और काम के बारे में तो देयर इज अ वेरी ब्यूटीफुल वर्स अबाउट काम. कामेन विजितो ब्रह्मा, कामेन विजितो हरः, कामेन विजितो विष्णु, शक्रः कामेन विजिता. मतलब ब्रह्मा विष्णु महेश, द थ्री ग्रेट deities which we worship, which are there, they are also defeated by काम, desire. Even the gods can be defeated with desires. कामेन विजितो ब्रह्मा, कामेन विजितो हरा, कामेन विजितो विष्णु, शक्रः कामेन विजितः. Shakra means Indra, the king of all the gods. He is also defeated. We learn many stories that Indra becomes very anxious if somebody does a lot of tapasya. Then he sends so many types of difficulties in his sadhana and all. Why? Because of kama, that I should remain on my throne. So kamena vijito shakra. So what is shakra's kama? Indra's kama, that I should be always there on the as the king of all the gods. स्वर्ग का राजा मैं हमेशा रहूं, ये उसका काम है. So if the gods are also defeated by desire, we are only the living beings, we are only common human beings. तो इसलिए काम ये हमारा पहला शत्रु है. And for the spiritual world, kama is the first enemy which we have to defeat. विहाय वैरिणम कामम अर्थर्च अनर्थ संकुलम. अर्थ से केवल अनर्थ ही होता है. Money of course has to be there, but just for keeping up ourselves alive, money is required. We are not saying that you go on begging. Okay. लेकिन ज्यादा पैसा हुआ तो भी प्रॉब्लम आता है, उससे अनर्थ ही पैदा होता है. धर्मम अपि तयोर हेतु. नाउ Ashtavakra actually gives us so many shocks. Whatever our Sanskriti has told, whatever our culture has told, that you follow dharma, artha, kama, moksha, he said, no, 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 no. This is not going to help you. Because dharma api tayoh hetu. The cause of kama and artha is also dharma only. You are thinking that you are practicing dharma, but really, do you follow dharma? We know from the history also that the greatest wars have been fought in the name of dharma only. Dharma, which is supposed to bring so much of peace, so much of love between the individuals, we find in the history. And even now, the war which is going on between Hamas and Israel is dharma yuddha only. यहूदियों के बीच और मुस्लिमों के बीच वो चल रहा धर्म युद्ध ही है. So dharma is leading to war. That is what is happening to us. So dharma becomes cause. और जो आदमी जिनके पाप बढ़ जाते हैं ना, उनको ऐसा लगता है कि अभी मैं ज्यादा धार्मिक हो जाता हूँ. बड़े बड़े शेठ होते हैं, वो अर्थ कमाते हैं, और कहीं तो भी अंदर चुभन होती है कि वॉट एवर wealth I have acquired, is not according to the religion, it is not according to my dharma. तो इसलिए वो क्या करते हैं, कुछ धर्मशालाएं उत्पन्न करते हैं, कुछ मंदिर बनाते हैं, एंड हॉस्पिटल्स खोलते हैं, या जो अन्न छत्र खोलते हैं कि जहाँ कोई भी आके खा सकता है. सो दीज आर द एक्ट्स विच दे परफॉर्म टू शो दैट दे आर धार्मिकास. वो बड़े धर्मों वाले बताने के लिए. हम्म, लेकिन उसमें भी उनकी एक प्रकार के एडवर्टाइजमेंट ही छुपी हुई होती है. सो वी नो दैट मेनी ऑफ द टेम्पल्स विच आर देयर, दे आर नोन एज बिरला मंदिर. मंदिर तो भगवान के नाम से होना चाहिए, but they are known as Birla Mandir. Birla himself is a god. So this is what we mean by dharma, you know. Or hospital, Tata Memorial Hospital. It is good that they have done good work. But then, is it going to be really a religious act? धर्म की भावना से अगर आप किए हुए हैं तो आप अपना नाम क्यों रखते हैं उसके लिए? सो दिस इज व्हाट रियली धर्म. इसलिए अष्टावक्र जनक को कह रहे, सर्वत्र अनादरम कुरु. Don't have any attachment even to these things. These things are not going to take you to moksha. Sarvatra anadaram kuru. Okay. Do not respect dharma, artha, kama, because it is not going to give you moksha at all. So a very wonderful verse, which is something which is against whatever we have been learning so far. हमारे संस्कृति में जो सिखाया गया था, धर्म अर्थ काम मोक्ष के मार्ग पर चलते रहना, अष्टावक्र बताते हैं ये आपको, it is not going to help you. Ashtavakra is very straightforward. Ashtavakra doesn't mince words. Ashtavakra doesn't want to keep the whole audience in good book. He wants to say the truth, and he has said the truth in a very harsh words. अर्थाचा अनर्थ संकुलम काम वैरिणम. So wonderful way in which. Now the next verse is स्वप्नेन्द्र जालवत पश्य दीनानि त्रिणी पंचवा मित्र क्षेत्र धनागार दारदाय आदि संपदा. So in this whole chapter, Ashtavakra is telling about dispassion, about vairagya. This whole chapter is on vairagya only, detachment only. And what he wants to know us is that whatever we are attached to, they are दीनानि त्रीणी पंचवा. 3-5 दिन के लिए है क्या? और का क्या क्या 3-5 दिन के लिए? मित्र क्षेत्र धनागार दार दायादि संपदा. ओके. द फ्रेंड, मित्र मीन्स फ्रेंड्स, लैंड मेरी जमीन, Dhanagara, my wealth. Agara means house. Dara, wife. And Daya, the gifts which I have. Adi Sampada, all the wealth which I have accumulated. They are Dinani Trini Panchava. All these things are not everlasting at all. They come and go. ये तो अनित्य है सब. कैसा अनित्य है? स्वप्नेन्द्र जालवत. A very beautiful word has been used. It is like जो सपने में हमको अगर बहुत जरा वेल्थ मिला तो क्या सच में होता है? सपने में हम राजा बन गए तो सच में थोड़ा ही हो गए. तो इसी प्रकार ये भी हमको सब जो हमारा है ऐसा लगता है. मित्र हमारे है, जमीन मेरी है, धन मेरा है, घर मेरा है. अरे कहाँ तुम्हारा होता है? आप भी अभी कल ही वो भूकंप आ गया इसमें नेपाल में, एंड सो मेनी हाउसेस फेल डाउन. वी फील दैट दिस इज माय परमानेंट रेसिडेंस फॉरएवर. दिस इज माय हाउस. You know, who knows what is going to happen tomorrow? Because they are Dinani Trini Panchava. They are not long-lasting things. What Ashtavakra is trying to tell is, मित्र, जमीन, धन, घर, पत्नी, भेंट वस्तु, ये सारे अल्पजीवी है. 3-5 दिन तक ही आनंद दे सकते हैं. जिस प्रकार सपना या जादू का खेल होता है. स्वप्न इंद्रजालवत। सो हम जब जादू खेल देखता है तो सब इसे बहुत आकर्षक होता है, जो जादूगर दिखाता है बहुत आकर्षित करता है। लेकिन हमको मालूम होता है कि ये तो जादू है, ये तो सच नहीं है। इट इज नॉट, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू गेट ऑल दोज थिंग्स विच इज शोइंग। सो ये सारा स्वप्न जाल इंद्रवत है, और इसलिए ये सारे चीजों के परे ये सारा परिवर्तनशील है, और इसके परे जाना यही असल में तो अष्टावक्र इन शॉर्ट व्हाट इज टेलिंग इट, ये सारा संसार जिससे हम संलग्न है वो असार है। अंडरस्टैंड द ट्रांजिटरीनेस ऑफ द वर्ल्ड and get detached. That is the message which is given in this verse and the verse to come as well. So let us go to the next verse, number 3. Yatra yatra bhavet trishna samsaram vidhi tatra vai praudha vairagyam ashritya vita trishna sukhi bhava. A very beautiful verse, really. What is samsara? What we call as world? What is jagat? A very beautiful definition. Yatra yatra bhavet trishna. Wherever there is desire, there is world. Trishna, pyas. Trishna means thirst. We have thirst for so many things. Thirst for food and thirst for entertainment, thirsty for intellectual pursuit, thirsty for name and fame. So many kinds of कितने प्रकार की प्यास हमें लगी है, और ये तृष्णा ही हमारा संसार है। यत्र यत्र भवेत् तृष्णा संसारम विद्धि तत्र वै। Wherever there is desire, there is word. प्रौढ़ वैराग्यम आश्रित्य, adopting very mature type of detachment. Mature type of praudha vairagya is a very beautiful word. We shall talk about it. Praudha vairagya is the key word which has been used here. Okay. Vairagya should not be without any thought or anything. Just leave everything. Ashtavakra has told that you should get detached. So I get detached from my house, and I get detached from my society, and I go into solitude. This is not Pravda Vairagya. So we shall see what is Pravda Vairagya very shortly. Vita Trishna. Vita Trishna means ये प्यास ही नहीं होनी चाहिए. Now this is the very beautiful word actually. That is how Patanjali also has described Vairagya. दृष्टानुश्रविक विषय वितृष्णस्य वशीकार संज्ञा वैराग्यम. Very beautiful definition. Very beautiful. Something which should be understood very well. Drishta anushravika. We see the things and get attached to it. We experience the thing and get attached to it. Anushravika means we listen to the things. What we listen to? That if we are doing good karmas and if we are doing auspicious deeds, we shall go to Swarga, we shall have better afterlife. This is अनुश्रविक. धर्म ग्रंथों में जो बताया जाता है कि तुमको स्वर्ग प्राप्ति होगी, अनुश्रविक. ये सारे विषयों की वितृष्णा. वितृष्णा means not having any desire for this at all. Now this is very important. Vairagya is not something that I am having trishna, but I am suppressing it. मेरे पास डिजायर तो है, लेकिन मैं अभी बोलता हूँ कि मैं अभी योग के मार्ग पर चला हूँ, मैं अभी आध्यात्मिक मार्ग पर चला हूँ, तो बस ये जो मेरे मन में इच्छाएं प्रकट होती है मैं ध्यान नहीं दूंगा. आई विल सप्रेस द डिजायर. इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हेल्प एट ऑल. इट मे लीड टू, देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल, they have sexual desires for instance, and in the name of yoga and other things they suppress the sexual desires. They suppress the desire for food. So suppression of desires is not vairagya. That is praudha vairagya means the desires don't spring up at all. प्रौढ़ वैराग्य का मतलब ये है कि इच्छाएं उत्पन्न ही नहीं होती. क्यों इच्छाएं उत्पन्न नहीं होती? If you have bliss of the higher states of consciousness, then the desires will not come in the mind at all. प्रौढ़ वैराग्य का मतलब ये है कि आप ऐसे मैच्योर हो जाते हो कि यू कैन सी दैट द वर्ल्ड इज चेंजिंग, वर्ल्ड इट इज अनित्य है यहाँ का सब कुछ, ये जानकर आप ध्यान का आनंद जब लुटने लगते हैं, इफ यू एंजॉय द मेडिटेटिव स्टेट्स, you will not have any affinity, you will not have any desire for the lower things, for the worldly things. This is called vitrushna. ऐसा नहीं कि प्यास मुझे लगी है लेकिन मैं पानी नहीं पीता हूँ, दिस इज नॉट वैराग्य. आपको प्यास जागृत ही नहीं होती. क्यों नहीं जागृत होती? क्योंकि आप अमृतपान कर रहे हैं. You are going to higher state of consciousness, and therefore you don't have any desire for worldly things. This is what happens with sadhus, sannyasis, and all those, and that is called praudha vairagya. So this is a very wonderful word which is used in this. We know that in our system it has been told that there are certain temporary phases of vairagya also which come in man's life. And three very well recognized temporary vairagyas have been told in our system. And they are Smashana Vairagya, Prasuti Vairagya, Purana Vairagya. They are not long lasting, Smashana Vairagya means if somebody dies, very near and dear to us, somebody dies, and we take him to the cremation ground, and the whole atmosphere is so tense, and his body is burning, and we start thinking that आज हम लोग इसको कंधे पर उठा के लेके आए, कल मुझे भी ऐसा ही लेके आने वाले हैं लोग. And it can be any time, death can come any time. And what I am attached to, वैराग्य जैसा पता, ऐसा लगता है कि ये सब झूठ है. संसार स्मशान में जाने के बाद हर एक मनुष्य को थोड़ी देर के लिए क्यों ना हो, ऐसा जरूर लगता है कि ये सब जीवन कुछ भी नहीं है. ओके, उसको स्मशान वैराग्य कहते हैं. बट यू कम बैक फ्रॉम द क्रिमेशन ग्राउंड, यू टेक बाथ, and you watch one serial on the TV, the Vairagya goes. A temporary phase. Prasuti Vairagya. They say that when a lady delivers a child, she feels that now she is totally detached. Everything is over. There is no further sex life for me. That is what she feels totally detached for some time. This is also a very temporary phase of Vairagya. And Purana Vairagya means after listening to a spiritual discourse, when you go for a spiritual discourse, you listen to a very powerful person, and you also feel, अरे ये तो बता रहा है, बराबर है, ये क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, कहाँ जा रहा हूँ, कहाँ पैसे के पीछे भाग रहा हूँ, कहाँ इच्छा पूर्ति के पीछे भाग रहा हूँ. I should be detached. This is also very temporary phase. You come back home, you go with your friends, and you go to hotels, and the vairagya goes. So these are temporary. What is praudha vairagya is something which is permanent type of vairagya. You are not interested. You don't have any desire at all. You don't have any thirst for the thing. It is called as praudha vairagya. And the word, so these two words are very important in this, praudha vairagya and vitrushna. Okay, they are the most beautiful words which are there in this. And almost the similar thing is there in the next verse number 4. तृष्णा मात्रात्मको बंधा तन्नाशो मोक्ष उच्यते भवा संसाक्ति मात्रेण प्राप्ति तुष्टि मुहुर्मुहु. तृष्णा मात्रात्मको बंधा, the desires of the soul, desire is the soul of all bondage. तृष्णा मात्रात्मको बंधा, जितने हमारे बंधन है, ये सारे बंधनों का कारण केवल और केवल तृष्णा है, केवल और केवल इच्छाएं हैं, डिजायर्स है. tannasho moksha uchyate. If the desires vanish, it is a state of liberation. Who is a liberated person? A person who has absolutely no desire. तृष्णा नाश ही मोक्ष है. तो तृष्णा ये आत्मा का बंधन है, तृष्णा नाश यही मोक्ष है. तृष्णा मात्रात्म को बंधा, तन्नाशो मोक्ष उच्यते. भव असंशक्ति मात्रेण. भव असंशक्ति मात्रेण, वन हु इज कंप्लीटली डिटैच, जिसकी सारी आसक्ति पूरी तरह से चली गई. प्राप्ति तुष्टि मुहुर्मुहु, then he will be always happy. A very great secret has been told by Ashtavakra here. He says that so long as you are having desires, you will never be satisfied. You will be always miserable. If you give up all the attachment, your happiness will remain forever. A very wonderful thing, very difficult to digest, very difficult, So what is saying? One can remain in a state of bliss at all times if he is completely detached from the world. Bhava असंशक्ति मार्गेण, जिसका ये दुनियादारी से संबंध पूरी तरह से टूट गया. One who is not at all attached to the world. प्राप्ति तुष्टि, उसको ऐसी तुष्टि मिलेगी कि जो कभी जाएगी ही नहीं. It will be so. Our Upanishads, our scriptures are telling that happiness lies in detachment and not in attachment. Is something which we have to really practice and see for ourselves. त्याग में ही ज्यादा से ज्यादा आनंद है, ऐसा वो बता रहे हैं. इच्छा पूर्ति में आनंद नहीं है, इच्छा पूर्ति में दुख ही दुख है. दिस इज व्हाट अष्टावक्र इज टेलिंग कंटिन्यूअसली. और सबसे ज्यादा आनंद त्याग में. जितना त्याग ज्यादा, उतना आनंद ज्यादा. वेरी स्ट्रेंज. इट डजंट लुक very satisfactory on the face of it, but this is what our ईशावास्योपनिषद is तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजीथा. ईशावास्यम इदम सर्वम यत्किंच जगत्याम जगत तेन त्यक्तेन भुंजीथा. You can enjoy the world only if you renounce. त्याग ही आनंद का मार्ग है, ऐसा उपनिषद बता रहे हैं. Now, how to digest this? And in Taittiriya Upanishad, when we learn Taittiriya Upanishad, we have seen Taittiriya Upanishad gives grades of bliss, higher and higher grades of bliss. So, Manushya Ananda, Gandharva Ananda, Manushya Gandharva Ananda, Deva Gandharva Ananda. So, ये आनंद की सीढ़ियां हैं. मनुष्य के आनंद से 100 पट ज्यादा देव गंधर्व का आनंद होता है. गंधर्व के आनंद से 100 पट ज्यादा देव गंधर्व का आनंद होता है. कर्मदेव का आनंद होता है. ऐसा करते करते ब्राह्मण आनंद, इट इज 10 to the power 22 times मनुष्य आनंद. नाउ हाउ टू अचीव इट? कंटिन्यूअसली रिपीटेड लाइन इन तैत्तरीय उपनिषद. श्रोत्रियस्य च कामः तस्य. One who is Shrotriya, one who has got all knowledge, one who has knowledge of Shrutis, is known as Shrotriya. Akamatasya. This is called really प्रौढ़ वैराग्य. उसको वैराग्य क्यों प्राप्त हुआ है? क्योंकि वो श्रोत्रिय है. Because he has got that knowledge that there is nothing in the world. He is not interested in the world because of that knowledge. Such kind of वैराग्य is known as प्रौढ़ वैराग्य. तो ये प्रौढ़ वैराग्य से कि अकामता आ जाती है. Then he goes on the higher and higher. So a very great secret has been told that more you renounce, happier you are. Let us go to the next verse now. त्वमेकश्चेतन शुद्धो जड़ विश्वम असत तथा अविद्यामपि न किंचित सा Ka bubutsa tatapite. Another Ashtavakra Gita. You know, in Ashtavakra Gita, the verses which are there, they are to be meditated upon. ये सब ध्यान करने लायक ये सब सारे श्लोक है, एक से एक बढ़कर है. तमेक चेतन शुद्ध, तुम शुद्ध चैतन्य हो. यू आर ओनली प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस. ओके. जगत जड़ असत तथा. All the world which you are seeing is only a material thing. It is unconscious thing. जगत तो जड़ है, चेतन नहीं है, असत है. It is not actually existing. It is not real. So the world is unreal. World is only the matter, and you are actually the pure consciousness. Tvamekas chetana shuddha jada vishwam asat tatha avidyam api na kinchit sa. There is nothing like ignorance actually. There is nothing like it. So this is the beauty of Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra is not saying that you are ignorant, read my books, become knowledgeable, and then you will find the way to happiness and way to moksha. No, he is not saying. He says that you are not at all ignorant. There is nothing like ignorance. अविद्या अविद्या का तो कोई अस्तित्व ही नहीं है. अविद्यामपि न किंचित सा. जिस प्रकार अंधकार को अस्तित्व ही नहीं है, उस प्रकार अविद्या को भी अस्तित्व ही नहीं है. अंधकार क्या है? इट इज ओनली एब्सेंस ऑफ लाइट. अंधकार or the darkness in itself doesn't have any existence. In the same way, avidya is like darkness. It doesn't have real existence. He said, if you know all this, का बुभुत्सा तथा पिते. ये संसार में तुम क्या जानना चाहते हो? बुभुत्सा means desire for having more and more knowledge. What is this desire for more and more knowledge? Because all you are the source of all knowledge. Tameka Chetana Shuddha. You are the pure consciousness. The whole knowledge is within you. And whatever you are calling as avidya, whatever you are calling as the word, they are not actually existing at all. You have to realize only that much. And if you realize that, where is the question of having knowledge, desire for the bubutsa is actually desire for knowledge. What he is indirectly suggesting is you cannot become enlightened by reading books. By you, if you become a bookworm, continuously reading the scriptures and the Gita and the Upanishads and all scriptures, whatever scriptures are there in the world, doesn't mean it will give you enlightenment at all. You know, because the thing is, all knowledge is in you. Have to find yourself. You know, if you want to get release, you have to find yourself, discover yourself, go within yourself. That is what it has been told in this 10:5. Let us go to the next verse. Rajyam sutaha kalatrani sharirani sukhani cha sansaktam syapi nashtani tava janmani janmani. He gives another very important drishtanta Ashtavakra is giving in this particular verse. He is telling Janaka, Rajyam Sutaha Kalatrani. You are concerned, so much concerned about your kingdom. You are attached to your kingdom. This is my duty to manage my kingdom, Rajyam Sutaha. Your children, your sons. You are attached to your kingdom. You are attached to your wives and sons, Kalatrani, wives, sons. शरीराणि सुखानि च. और शरीर सुख, यही तो तुम्हारा जीवन है. दिस इज व्हाट वी कॉल एज वर्ड. व्हाट इज वर्ड? नाउ राज्यम फॉर जनका is office for us, the duties for us. What is our word? Our word is my children, my wife, my house, the requirements of my body, the duty which I have to perform. This is my word. What else is there in the word? Okay. anything of this will be transferred to the next life. संसक्तम स्यापि नष्टानि तव जन्मनि जन्मनि. ये सारा तो जन्म जन्म से आप every life you had wife, you had children, you had some kingdom, you have so many things. Have you been able to carry it to the next life at all? तो ये सारा जो है वो यहाँ ही रहने वाला है. तुम जब उधर चले जाओगे तो न राज्य रहेगा, न तो लड़के तुम्हारे पास रहेंगे, न वाइफ विल बी देयर, और जो कमाए सब एवरीथिंग विल बी हियर ओनली. You know, once it is said that Guru Nanak, he was wandering, and while wandering he saw one great Sardar with a lot of horses and elephants. That was the sampatti at that time, you know. The great Sardar means having 10,000 horses, so many elephants, and a huge cow herd and all that, you know. So when Guru Nanak he saw, he बहुत प्यार से उसने गुरु नानक को बुलाया, खिलाया पिलाया, बहुत आदर किया, बहुत कुछ, और बहुत उत्साह के साथ अपना जो सारे संपत्ति है दिखाया कि देखो कितने, हाउ मेनी एलिफेंट्स आई हैव, how many horses I have, how much gold I have. सब सारे धन संपत्ति का प्रदर्शन उसने किया, जैसा एक छोटा बच्चा दिखाता है सब वैसा ही. तो गुरु नानक ये सब देखने के बाद बताए कि अरे तुम तो बहुत बड़े सरदार हो, मेरा छोटा एक काम करोगे क्या? बोला अरे यार हुकुम करो भाई, हुकुम करो, आपको तो सब मानना है. नहीं, बोले ऐसा है कि मेरे पास ये सुई है, सुई, ये मैं तुमको देता हूँ, लेकिन ये मुझे आपको वापस कब करनी है? जब हम दोनों ही दूसरी दुनिया में चले जाएंगे, यानी मरने के बाद जब दूसरी दुनिया में हम चले जाएंगे, उस दुनिया में ये सुई तुमको वापस करनी है मुझे. यू हैव टू रिटर्न दिस नीडल ओनली व्हेन वी गो फ्रॉम दिस लाइफ टू अदर लाइफ. नाउ दैट सरदार, he saw the thing very well, that you can't carry anything from here to the next life. Janmani Janmani, every life you had wife, you have the sons, you have the wealth, you could not carry it to the next life. Why don't you understand it? Rajyam Suta Kalatrani Sharirani Sukhani Cha Samsaktam Syapi Nashtani. Your attachment is very great. I am attached to my kingdom, I am attached to my wealth, to my house. Will you be able to carry it to next life? नष्टानी तव जन्मनी जन्मनी. हर एक जन्म में ये सारा नष्ट हो गया. तुमने जो जो कुछ कमाया नष्ट हो गया. Every life it has, but we have not learned our lessons. That is what he is saying. So अलम अर्थेन कामेन सुकृतेनापि कर्मणः एभ्यः संसार कांतारे न विश्रांतम अभूत मनः. So what he is saying is that you understand this, that in every life you have enjoyed this, nothing has come. So now alam arthena kamena. अर्थ काम मोक्ष में भी कुछ भी नहीं रखा हुआ है. That is what Ashtavakra was trying to tell to Janaka. Now he says alam arthena kamena sukrutenapi karmana. And what else we want to do? We want to ensure the life in the heaven, and therefore sukrutenapi karmana. हम कर्म सिद्धांत बहुत मानते हैं, और हम सोचते हैं कि अगर हम यज्ञ कर्म करें, अगर हम पुण्य कर्म करें, अगर हम बहुत सारे धर्म कर्म करें, तो we shall be able to reach heaven and there will be tremendous joy in heaven. तो इसलिए जो मीमांसा दर्शन है वो मीमांसा दर्शन में मोक्ष की संकल्पना नहीं है। उसमें केवल स्वर्ग की संकल्पना है कि व्हाट डू यू वांट टू डू, यू हैव टू एंजॉय लाइफ फॉर एवर एज लॉन्ग एज यू वांट, एंड दैट इज अ प्लेस विच दे कॉल एज स्वर्ग। और स्वर्ग प्राप्ति के लिए भी ज्योतिषोम यज्ञ बताया है कि ज्योतिषोम यज्ञ करो तो स्वर्ग प्राप्ति होगी, यू कैन लिव वेरी हैप्पीली फॉर एवर देयर। बट देन इट डजंट रिमेन फॉर एवर, यू नो, क्योंकि कर्म खत्म होते ही वापस आपको यही संसार में आना है। एभ्या संसार कांतारे, संसार कांतार मीन्स इस संसार के अरण्य में, संसार के वन में एनी टाइम यू कैन बी काम एंड क्वाइट। मन शांति कभी मिल सकती है इस संसार रूपी वन में। न विश्रांतम अभूत मनः, मन कभी भी विश्रांत नहीं होता। It is impossible that mind will get relaxed, mind will have no anxieties, worries, tensions. मनोविश्रांत स्थिति कभी भी पैदा नहीं होती। एभ्या संसार कांतारे, ये जो सारा जगत है ये एक वन के तरह है। नाउ दिस इज ए वेरी ब्यूटीफुल सिमिली, बिकॉज वन वो चीज है जिसमें आप मार्ग कहाँ चल रहे हैं ये भी पता। इफ देर इज घनारण्य, if it is a deep forest, you don't have you don't have any sense of direction. You don't know whether you are going to the east, to the west, to the south, or to the north. Your direction is right or wrong. You get lost in deep forest. I have this experience actually. When we were working in Arunachal Pradesh, we went to Burma. Actually, we walked because Burmese border and Indian border, they are just, you can walk over, and there is Burmese camp, and because the relationship between Burma and India is okay, if you take permission, they allow you to come inside. And when you go there, down below you see what they call a lake of no return, because in the Second World War, the whole English army was lost in the lake. They wanted to go because Japanese had attacked from that side, and therefore British army was going from Indian side, and they entered into the jungle. They never returned back, and therefore it is known as Lake of No Return. And we said, why did not they return back? They said that there are two reasons. One is, in this jungle, the trees, and you do not know whether it is day or night. Even in the afternoon, you will find darkness here when you enter the jungle, and इतनी दलदल है वहाँ कि you will not be able to walk at all. Huh? Your legs go inside. You are not able to come out of that mud and everything. So they were lost totally. This is what happens in the jungle. So samsara kantare means we become directionless. In the world, we have become directionless as we become directionless in the forest. That is why it is called samsara kantare. Na vishradam abhut mana. So when we have lost our word, uh, when we have lost our way, how can the mind will have any kind of silence, any kind of freedom? विश्रांति कैसी होगी मन की? How the mind will get relaxed? Will be worried where we are going, where we are going to reach. Nothing is known to us in this world. So that is what he is saying. So that is why he says alam arthena kamena. You understand this fact, and therefore alam, अभी बस हो गया अर्थ और काम के पीछे दौड़ना। और सुकृतेनापि कर्मणा, अच्छा कर्म, बुरा कर्म, पाप कर्म, पुण्य कर्म, इसके बारे में सोचते रहना भी बहुत हो गया अभी। अलम, अलम बस हो गया। तुमने ये बस अर्थ के पीछे, काम के पीछे और सुकृत के पीछे, पुण्य के पीछे दौड़ते रहना अभी बस हो गया। Now you want to have chitta vishranti. What is to be done for that? You have to get released from the desire. You have to get released from द डिजायर फॉर अर्निंग। इसलिए धर्म अर्थ और काम मोक्ष इन द फर्स्ट वर्स वी saw सर्वत्रम अनादरम कुरु, you get detached even from that. Very great thing has been told by Ashtavakra. We come to the last verse now. कृतं न कति जन्मानि कायेन मनसा गिरा दुःखम आसादनयं कर्म तद अद्यापि परम्यताम उपरम्यताम। तो अनेक जन्मों से तुमने शरीर मन और वाणी से दुखदायक और काम किए हैं अभी तक। हम कृतम न कति जन्मानि, हाउ मेनी लाइव्स यू हैव स्पेंट in doing the actions kayena manasa gira. You have acted with the body, you have acted with the mind, you have acted with the speech. So these are the three important sources of action, which we are involved in. Action is not only physical action. Of course, physical action is the one which is very much required, but mental action is continuously going on. Thoughts are going on in the mind. What will happen tomorrow? What happens to the war between Hamas and Israel? Action is going on. We can't do anything about it, but we watch and then we criticize. We say, oh, this is good, this is bad, this should not be done, and UNO should interfere. Nothing. It is only the thought. This is the karma which we are doing through mind and gira through वाणी। ये अच्छा है, ये बुरा है। वाणी से जो कर्म हम करते, कितने कर्म थ्रू स्पीच, how much action is taking place through speech. All our relations are through speech. वाणी से कितनी हिंसा करते हैं हम, लोगों को दुखाते हैं। We use harsh words, unnecessary harsh words, even to our own children, even to our own neighbor, even when we go for small things, we shout. वाणी से की हुई हिंसा। ओके, सो कायेन मनसा गिरा कृतम न कति जन्मानि, और ये जन्म जन्मों तक हम करते आ रहे, अनेक जन्मों से शरीर मन और वाणी के द्वारा। और ये सारे दुखम आसाद, और ये इफ यू मेडिटेट on our actions, you will say that invariably we have invited misery because of all these actions. काया वाचा मने किए हुए सारे कर्म आखिर में दुख ही पैदा कर देते हैं। सो ये दुख कारक कर्मों को अब तो कम से कम छोड़ दे। तद अद्यम अपि उपरम्यताम। Adya. Adya means now, at least having understood it so many times, having gone through it so many times, and having known that these karmas only are taking through cycles of birth and death. Punarapi mararam, punarapi jananam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam, iha samsare bahudustare. Why we are not understanding it? Why we are entering into the cycle of birth and death? Why we are in action? So ये अब तो सोचो। So तद अद्य अपि उपरम्यताम। At least now understand this and leave this। ये सब छोड़ दो अभी। Now at least you leave everything. How? By getting detached. Does it mean that he is saying that you don't eat anything, you nishkama karma? Means all our actions are because of the attachment of the mind or the body or the senses. If you are doing yadruchaya, यदृच्छया मतलब जैसा आपके सामने आता है, ईश्वर की इच्छा से ही अगर आप कार्य करते हो तो वो कार्य आपको कभी भी दुख नहीं देता। That is the way to come out of this cycle of birth and death, cycle of attachment. So if you see clearly that all the time, in all the lives, every time, because of the action through the mind, through the body, and through the speech, दुखम आयासदम, आपके जो दुख पैदा हुए वो इन्हीं के कारण हुए. If you see this clearly, now at least get rid of this, now at least get detached from it. So this is what this Vairagya Prakarana is telling us. So we have finished the chapter 10. We will not begin with chapter 11 now. So I will stop here with Shanti Mantra, but then there is time and we shall have a lot of discussion. If you have any observations, if you want to make any comments, we can do that after I chant the Shanti Mantra. Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amrutangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
This is
you, sir.
appealing to us. Knowing lectures, knowing everything, we are not getting details.
या हमारी तृष्णा बढ़ती है सब करे
हाँ,
कि
वही है.
सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार.
सर प्रणाम सर।
प्रणाम प्रणाम
सर
एवरीबॉडी.
चंद्रमोहन
वंस अगेन
सर
विषय. हाँ, बोलिए बोलिए चंद्रमोहन जी, बोलिए.
सर मैं बोल रहा था कि
हाँ.
ये हर सोमवार के दिन 9 बजे से लेकर के 9:30 बजे तक के पुराण वैराग्य का अनुभव हम लोगों को भी आप करवा देते हैं सर. सो वो
Yes,
तो एक
yes,
बात है, और आपने
yes.
हम लोगों को सबको दीपावली की शुभकामनाएं दी. हम सब लोगों की ओर से आपके लिए भी वही
Oh
शुभकामनाएं
yes,
हम लोग
thank you
रेसिप्रोकेट कर रहे हैं
so much, thank you so
सर.
much, thank you so
सर
much.
नाउ कमिंग टू द क्वेश्चन सर, आई वांट टू नो दैट जो कहा कि सारे मतलब संसार के उद्भव का या जड़ जो है वो काम है.
काम
सो
है.
फिर सर ये इसके बारे में जो कहा है कि प्रभवान संकल्प कामः, मतलब काम की उत्पत्ति कहाँ से होती है? वो संकल्प से होती है, वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन सर ये काम बीज क्या है? और इसको मतलब हाउ कैन व्हाट इज टू बी डन प्रैक्टिकली टू अराइव एट दिस पोजीशन, जो उसके बाद में आगे समझाया कि प्रौढ़ मोक्ष की स्थिति है.
हाँ.
मतलब जब
प्रौढ़ वैराग्य.
हाँ प्रौढ़ वैराग्य की जो स्थिति है,
मीन्स
तो उसमें जो हम लोगों को कहा जा रहा है कि सही बात तो ये है कि सर्वारंभ परित्यागी जैसी स्थिति की, मतलब आरंभ ही ना हो, मतलब प्यास ही ना लगे, तृष्णा ना जागृत हो. तो सर
बराबर.
तो ये जो काम है ये उद्भव क्यों होता है, और मतलब इसका बीज क्या है सर?
काम का बीज तो वैसा अविद्या ही है. Because I am thinking myself as body, I have
जी
physical
सर.
desires. Because I am thinking myself as mind, I have mental desires. Because I am thinking myself as intellect, I have intellectual desires. So desires are produced because I am misunderstanding myself not as Atman, but as body, mind, senses. This is avidya. अविद्या के कारण मैं शरीर हूँ ऐसा भाव मेरे अंदर पैदा होता है, तो फिर शारीरिक प्यास पैदा होती है. मैं मन हूँ ये भाव आता है, इससे मानसिक प्यास पैदा होती है. So it is because of avidya that we are having this misunderstanding. Okay. तो now ये कम कैसा करना है? तो प्रौढ़ वैराग्य से. If you do meditation, if you get happiness, if you know that you don't need anything for happiness, you are always happy. जैसे साधु सन्यासी रहते हैं ना, वो ऐसा नहीं बोलते मैंने ये त्याग किया है वो त्याग किया, उनको जरूरत ही नहीं रहती है. महावीर को, बुद्ध को किसी चीज को जरूरत ही नहीं है. ऐसा नहीं कि जरूरत थी लेकिन उन्होंने वो लिया नहीं, ऐसा नहीं है. दिस इज समथिंग separation of desire. We are not at all talking about separation of desires. What we are talking about, because of knowledge, you can see clearly that neither the desires can ever be fulfilled, and really you don't need them Why do you go after desire? Because you feel that fulfilling the desires you will be happy. हमको क्या लगता है, इच्छा पूर्ति से हमको आनंद आ जाएगा, ऐसा हमको लगता है। अब अष्टावक्र ये कहते हैं कि इच्छा पूर्ति कितने बार आपने की है, क्यों नहीं आनंद हुआ आपको, दुखी क्यों बढ़े? अर्थार्जन, आप उसके तो पीछे ही पड़े हैं, पैसा कमाओ, फिर बैंक में भी रखो, कल मुझे लगेगा, जितना चाहिए उतना कमाओ, उतना ठीक है, अन्न वस्त्र निवारा के लिए ठीक है। So has it solved? What he's saying is analyze this, find out whether the problems were solved or increased. And you will invariably find that the problems are getting multiplied. Why? Because you have not understood who you are and what you actually need. What you actually need is Atma-jnana. What you actually need is self-realization. So the desire should be mumukshutva. So what we have to really tune up is going from the desire to desire for moksha, which is called as mumukshutva. तो जिसके अंदर मुमुक्षत्व पैदा हुआ, उसके अपने आप ये सारे जो वर्ल्डली डिजायर थे वो फॉल, ही कैन सी द fallacy in it.
Thank you, sir. I got a little bit of it. Thank you very much.
सर
Sir,
एक मिनिट रुका.
हाँ बोलिए
म्हणजे
बोलिए,
आता
बोलिए.
तुम्ही सांगितलं डिझायर फॉर मुमुक्षत्व, बट इवन
हाँ.
दॅट डिझायर इज ऑल्सो डिझायर.
Yes, finally that also should go. That also finally should go. But what happens is, जैसे कांटा से कांटा निकालते हैं ना, और फिर दोनों कांटे फेंक देते हैं ना, वैसे हायर डिजायर मतलब स्पिरिचुअल डिजायर से वर्ल्डली डिजायर को निकाल देना है. हाँ, दिस इज द मार्ग फॉर द, and then even the desire for moksha also comes in the way. It is not the final solution. So
Yes,
if there is if thorn goes into our leg, what we do, we take another thorn if we are in jungle, and with this thorn we remove the other thorn and then throw both the thorns. We do not keep the other thorn. Oh, this was very useful, let me keep it. No. So मुमुक्षत्व इसके लिए है, वर्ल्डली डिजायर खत्म होने के लिए मुमुक्षत्व है, उसके पार भी जाना ही पड़ेगा, उसके पार भी जाना, क्योंकि मुमुक्षत्व कौन हो, मैं आत्मा नहीं हूं, ये ज्ञान से मुमुक्षुत्व पैदा होता है. Actually we are only Atman, we are pure consciousness. That is what he is continuously telling. Because we don't have that knowledge, मुमुक्षुत्व हमारे अंदर पैदा होता है कि क्या है, मैं जानूं, तुम तो वहां ही हो, ऐसा वो कह रहा है continuously that you are pure Atman, you are pure consciousness. So there is no question of having desire for liberation at all.
सर विचारू का?
हा विचारा ना, विचारा.
याचा अर्थ नाही कळला. 10-2 फर्स्ट लाईन, दिनानी त्रीणी पंचवा.
हाँ, दीनानी त्रिणी पंचवा. दीनानी में तीन 5 दिन, ये सारे जो चीजें बोल रहे हैं, भार्या, मित्र, क्षेत्र, धनागार, दीनानी त्रिणी पंचवा, 3-5 दिन टिकने वाली चीजें ही. So that is the way 3-5 दिन टिकने वाला है, मतलब very short lived. What it means is it is very short.
3-5 दिवस. 3-5 दिवसात काय?
3-5 दिवसात ते सगळं जातं, आज आहे उद्या नाही, हे सांगण्याकरता that is the phrase which is used. हम बोलते ना, ये 2 दिनों की तो बात है, इसी प्रकार वो दीनानी त्रिणी पंचवा, ऐसा.
थँक यू सर, व्हेरी नाईस. काट्याने काटा खूप आवडला.
Thank you, sir. Happy Diwali to you.
Happy Diwali to everybody once again.
Thank you so much, sir.
दिवाली के पहले गला अच्छा हो गया, वो अच्छा है.
Thank you, sir.
बगाडिया सर.
Thank you very much.
Happy